Hi, this is the first in the series World Trader Update 1. It's just going to be a few different ideas, points of view, charts, opportunities happening around the world, whatever comes to mind really. This is the Thailand Set Index. Anyone been keeping up with global news will know that Thailand's had quite a few political problems. And you can see here back in April and May the market topping out. You draw a line down. The uptrend line was broken, but it didn't last and it carried on going down. And here you can see the longer term uptrend line has been broken just about here. So I am expecting the market to rally, and it has rallied the last few days. But I would be very cautious to believe that this could be sustained for any length of time. And the reason for that is I'll show you a longer term chart. But it is looking quite good on the shorter term speculation plays. It's had a nice base consolidation area here. Not too much time, but enough time maybe for it to build up a move to around 1400 or a little bit higher. And you can see it here. If I draw a line down, you can see the downtrend line broken here. But in terms of developing any sort of real base, it hasn't. But with these indexes, of course, if it did reach the 1500 level and it reconsolidated again, then I could have the opinion and get bullish again. But it's been a very good run up the last few years, and you can see where my mouse is here, the nice uptrend, and then it was broken here with the commotion in 2011. All markets really suffered around the world. It was a volatile year, 2011, and then the uptrend begins. And again it was broken here, and the market's come off again. So just really waiting for the market to move up to the next consolidation level to see whether the downtrend is going to continue or whether this longer term uptrend will continue. But I just need to reevaluate the situation once the market settles down, once this mini cycle is over. And it looks like the mini cycle is pointing upwards to around 1450, 1400, no more than 1500, and then I think it will reconsolidate, and then I'll have to evaluate the situation. But you can see here it didn't have a tremendous move up during the bull markets around the rest of the world back in 2007. It had a big dip during the global recession, and you can see the action here where the market flattened out, and it's trying to catch up with the rest of the gains around the world in the last 4 or 5 years. This is the MICEX Metals and Mining Index. You can see what a battering it's had. 2009 it just had a pretty much straight run up with one interruption of the uptrend. We're used to seeing that. Then the parabolic spike upwards, and then you can also see here the distribution, and if you draw a long downtrend line it has been broken, but I believe that that would be similar to when this uptrend line was broken here. And then you see the uptrend line broken. People think the trend's over and it carries on. Got a big downtrend line, it's broken, people think it's over, potentially it moves up a little bit and then it carries on going down. We'll just have to wait and see, but it's not looking good in terms of Russian companies and the actual index as a whole. And there's been no real basic action area or consolidation here, so it's well too early to be getting involved and looking for bargains in Russia. And as I said before in previous screencasts in the last week, this is really going to put off a lot of people from investing in the country. The MICEX Manufacturing Index is going to take a hammering because of the unstable ruble. You can see here not bad consolidation action, but you can see here none of this was accumulated in a higher reach, and it was all happened in a lower range, and then the crisis in Crimea, and it's taken a dip down below. Could this be a shakeout and it's going to move back up? The long-term damage to Russia from a fundamental perspective is pretty severe, but I always go on price action. So we're going to have to wait to see how this develops, but I would never buy into this market, the index. If you draw a line where my mouse is down, if it broke that, then potentially I could see the technical position changing in the market. But for me it's just in a solid downtrend at the moment, and it needs to be reaccumulated, and it needs to build solid foundations there at the bottom. And you can see the chemicals index as well, it's held up better than other indexes, and you can see it dropping off here and dropping off, and one would summarize that potentially the market would move lower from here. But again, price action, I can't tell from where it is now, but it does look to be developing into a downtrend. The consumer goods and services index has held up very well up until the last 2 or 3 months, and you can see goods and services being imported from abroad costing a lot more now for Russians. All those Adidas trainers and other luxury items they like to buy are going to cost a lot more, and this is going to affect the consumer goods and services companies listed in Russia. One would summarize that perhaps we might see some sort of consolidation and a move up, but then the downtrend would continue. Sometimes markets, as always with uptrends, they don't just go straight up or straight down. You could see this market here up, then it has a shakeout, and then back up again, although it had a lot of months where the market went up. The MICEX oil and gas index, another market that's held up pretty well. Russia's got a good distribution system, got some very good customers on its doorstep like Germany, Poland, the UK, and this does help Russia's economy that they have such reliable partners in terms of paying them for their gas. But again, I suspect that gas could be used as a weapon to force Russia out of the Crimea. The ultimate sanction is to stop buying their gas. It could be done without a huge detrimental damage to the European economy, and this market from there could take a dive. But again, from price action here, it does look like the market's topping out with these spikes and not being able to move into higher ground. The market's telling me that it's being sold off at the moment. I would have to re-evaluate once it maybe reached, say, 2,750, but I think the market has easily got the potential to go there with the strife that's happening at the moment. And this is the overall MICEX index, and these are the types of opportunities that present themselves in emerging markets. Back in 2000, 2002, great accumulation action, moving up to the next consolidation, the minor shakeouts, but you can see the uptrend becoming more and more pronounced. Where my mouse is, you had a nice trending uptrend, and then all of a sudden the uptrend became very steep, and then we saw the nice distribution action and some parabolic action as well, and a very heavy move downwards. If it does break this pivotal point of 1250 here where my mouse is, I can see this going much lower, perhaps down to the longer term trend line that is around perhaps 825, maybe even as low as 750 with a decent shakeout, and the Russian market could easily go there. But again, I wouldn't be doing anything until it really breaks these pivotal points here. Usually when it does break a big resistance area like that, it would say move down to around 1125, and then it might bounce back up to confuse people, because sometimes with these shakeouts a lot of people will get short, and it's an ideal opportunity to bounce them out of the market before the trend begins down. So you do have to be careful when these pivotal points break, because sometimes there can be false rallies for a month or two after they break, because too many people have had the same opinion, and they close out on themselves when they panic. The MICEX equity repo rate, you can see here the rates to borrow money in Russia, the repo rates, big downtrend here, the cost of borrowing was much cheaper, and you can see it steadying out here, and you can see it breaking out of this long-term consolidation well up to around 8 now. You could see this easily moving up to 10, and if it did start some sort of pronounced uptrend, we could easily see this move up to 12 or 15, but again I'm waiting for more price action to confirm, because it has broken out of a long-term consolidation area, so it does look like the trend is up, and borrowing costs are going to become a lot higher in Russia. The corporate bond index, the 1 to 3 year maturities. You can see that they're paying more with these spikes up as the ruble is losing value. Russian companies are having to pay more on their bonds to investors to attract capital, and you can see what happened to them during the Great Recession. Look how much they were having to pay back then. It's broken out of this longer term consolidation area. We could have a move back down to here to convince people that the market is not going up, but I feel that once that is out of the way, we're going to see quite a large spike. The odds, the probabilities, perhaps I wouldn't be trading it, individual bonds perhaps, but not the main indexes. But I can see this easily going to 17.5 to 20 maybe over the next year. These types of situations take time to play out. You know, let's have a look at Russia's FDI figures in 3 months or 6 months. It doesn't matter even if the Crimea crisis is solved in the next couple of weeks without bloodshed. This is going to leave a stain within the subconscious of investors all around the world. And I would summarize that a lot of investors would put on hold their investments in Russia after this, and in the next 6 months to a year, Russia will see their FDI figures drop significantly. Okay, that's it for now for the slides. I just wanted to show you a couple of websites here, a couple of articles that have interested me over the last 3 or 4 days, because I did put those slides together a couple of days ago. I've just only had the time just now to record them. So I just wanted to show you this. JP Morgan closes in on big commodities deal. It's a misleading headline. If you actually read the article, it talks about JP Morgan trying to sell their commodity units to an outfit in Geneva, Switzerland. Obviously JP Morgan feel the main top of the commodity market is out of the way, it's over, and also with all the political pressure as well, having their fingers in lots of different commodity pies in the last few years, and a lot of companies like Coca-Cola and aluminium purchasers accusing them of manipulating prices, along with Goldman Sachs. And I would recommend reading the article. You'll find the link in the video description on YouTube. But it's worth reading just to get an idea that these guys got heavily involved in the commodity market during the bull market, and now they seem to all be getting out of the market at this present juncture. And again, things take time to play out. We've seen the rally in crude oil, which I suspected last time. I talked about crude oil on the screencast. But I do suspect over the next couple of months, as things play out globally, the price of crude oil will come down quite significantly. So check out this article if you can. Also, I just wanted to show you the SET index in Thailand today. It's slightly up. It's been quite moderate, but you can see, you know, if you draw a line from where the mouse is down, you can see that this almost looks like it's going to spike into some sort of movement that could reach 1400, 1450. And then from there I would reevaluate the market. But things fundamentally haven't been sorted out in Thailand in terms of the political issues, and they're just on the boil at the moment. So we'll see what happens and see how things develop. But it does look like the market's going to spike upwards and try and attract some capital into the market. If people can be attracted back into the market, distribution then becomes easier. And I just wanted to show you an article here, excuse me, that I wrote back on the 4th of May back in 2013 called Thai Time Bubble Watch. And you can see here back in May was pretty much the peak of the market. I had the timing wrong by about 10 days. But sometimes boots on the ground, you know, analysing investors' psychology can just be as good as price action as well. Check out that article if you've got time. It was one of the first ones that was put together at Global Investor Radio. And this is the MICEX index. It's up about 1% at the moment, and you can see the big drop off from Russia trying to annex the Crimea pretty much when they invaded the Crimea. And you can see the market hasn't recovered from that, even though we've seen some days where the market's bounced and it's stayed in this consolidation. This is a very short-term chart, a 5-day chart, and you can see the damage that it's done to the market. It's gone from 1500 to below 1300, moved up again to 1350, and we await to see where this consolidation takes us. Even if peace is achieved and the Russians move back to their base in Sevastopol and the other one that they've got, and the market temporarily bounces, I wouldn't be suckered into it, simply because it would be very short term, and what I talked about previously about huge damage being done to the FDI sector in Russia. And this is one of the ways I'm keeping up with the Ukrainian conflict. I'm a bit of not a news addict for the sake of reading news from a speculating point of view. I'm just interested in world affairs. But Reddit has a good live update section. The link will be in the description on the video on YouTube. And it's a good way. They put updates, all crowdsourced from individual users from around the world. And it's a pretty good page to have open. Okay, that's it for now. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.